guess what? I'm gonna get mine. I'll do the crime if you can't do the time. Don't tell me how you're off and down. When you're smiling in my face, but you play me like a clown. It's your fool, bitch. So just step back. I'm mad that when I come down straight, I thought you were my piece, but you play me out. Now I'm mad as hell, and I'm full of doubt. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. I'm back on the scene, it's time to get mean. I'm a lean revolution machine. Won't want people stay, they sway. For today is good as any day. You'll feel slightly this, let's resist. Raise your fist and pump like this. Promises over the top. Don't cross the line, but you know it's right. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll.
Double five, get something in your rear. 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 Double five, get something in your rear.
Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? 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 Who you wanna roll with?
Hello.
Hi, Liz.
How is everybody?
Sore. Hey, everybody.
Sick.
Oh, right up there.
Sick.
Sick.
I'm just going to stay sick.
Sick of this shit. Johnny, I think I have the same problem again with you. Hold on. Yeah, your mic is overmodulating, my friend.
Is it?
Yeah, you hear it? Yeah. There's an interference somewhere. It could be Mayor Dodd trying to.
It could be.
Yeah, he's trying to hack into your system there.
Yeah, it could be a lot of things.
Look on your telephone pole. See if Mayor Dodd's out there.
Yeah, it could be a lot of things. They're replacing wires, everything's wet.
That noise was in the key of B, by the way.
How you feeling, Sue?
Like shit.
What do you got? Cold, flu?
I have no immune system left, I think.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I just have to be grumpy and, get over myself.
Oh, yeah, I know. I know that feeling.
But thank you for asking.
I've been on prednisone for 8 years straight.
Wow.
With a 2-week break.
Mm-hmm.
I know you. I feel your. I feel you.
Oh. Well, I don't like the way that sounds.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it concerns me. I mean, I'm glad I'm glad you're not somebody that just goes, "I'm fine. How are you?" You know, you give a direction, you deal with it. But I like the honesty in the answer, so you know you can be aware. I
I
would I would have asked if nobody else did. You know.
You would
I suggest Dan Active. It's a probiotic from Dannon yogurt drink, and it helps boost your immune system. I
What's it called?
swear by it.
Can you text me that?
Sure, yeah. Let me text
Okay,
it to
thank
you
you.
right now. Because I'll tell you, and I do a loading dose. It comes in like a 6-pack.
Okay.
And so the first day I do 2 of them. They're good.
Okay. Yeah, text me that. I'll try
Yeah.
whatever.
Um,
Okay. Almost there.
I'm twisting up a fat blunt while you do that, and
Where's your guest?
tobacco leaf.
Where's your guest?
Don't have one.
We don't have a guest. I have a surprise guest coming on to surprise you all.
It's got Beetlejuice coming.
He's going to just appear. He will just appear magically, and we'll be like, "Oh,
Can we have a board meeting? There's 5 of us.
yeah." Let's call this meeting to order. Roll
shit, I
call.
shouldn't have done that.
I'm in.
Hey, President Jim.
We have Jim, Sue, Liz, John, and Lefty present. We can vote on the last minutes. If you want to see the last minutes, they're on the Google Docs. We can vote on the last minutes. I don't have a treasury report handy, but I will provide that information on the chat for you guys.
Okay.
Are you the treasurer? I
Yes.
guess so.
I hope so, because ain't me. Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it.
Does the treasurer have to have money?
Yeah, we're kind of broke anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's not like,
$2.87.
you know.
Hey,
You know
listen, I
what?
paid my due, so you should have at least 25.
This is gonna be part of the board meeting. I want to talk about this.
Good.
Okay.
Let's do it. We haven't had a board meeting in
Okay.
a month.
Well, what's the first order of concern? Sue, what do you think?
Let's talk about membership first. Okay.
Okay.
So the only members we have, right, are us and a couple other people
Mm-hmm.
that have interest, right? How many people do we have that are members?
8,
8?
9.
Okay.
8 or 9.
So we're never going to have any money if we don't increase the membership. So, you know, I'm a good campaign manager, and how about we open it up to the different cannabis forums that we have, and we can get people to, people will join for $25. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so want to try that?
Yes.
Okay, who's going to design something? Lefty.
A flyer?
Flyer. Nice.
Sure.
Got to put them up in the
Well-
dispensaries too.
You know how something.
Something catchy.
Well, yes, but something that is like, okay, we've never been very directly asking people for money or for membership money or whatever,
I think we could do it on Liz Lights Up too, on the school community.
Yeah, sure. We'll do it
We'll
wherever
do
we
best in
wherever
your
we
yeah.
can. We'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
Yeah,
But as
absolutely.
far as I don't think we need to say that we've never asked for money before.
No, I'm not going to say that.
Okay.
That I mean, nobody's
Yeah.
going to go, they're always asking for money. PP. Sorry.
Okay.
I need to roll up.
So yeah, let's get a membership. We have to be able to offer them something. So here's an idea I have. Okay. It is becoming increasingly difficult to get a guest, for Thursdays a month. Okay. Because I've gone through all the guests I know, and I've recycled some back in. Okay. And that's good. And I could still, continue to do that. However, here's my idea, is that we have a spotlight speaker once a month. Okay. And that would be somebody that we all interact with. And I don't have to be the only one that looks for a guest. You guys are welcome to do that. I could
Yeah,
do
I
the,
had a couple of suggestions a while ago, but one
well,
one
just,
is a
what? I could
legacy.
do the optics for it. So just send it to me. Lefty doesn't care. He'll
Oh,
be like,
okay.
yeah, okay, good.
Mhm.
But anyway, so why don't we do something like that? And then maybe once every few months, we have like some really big bright star, because we do know a lot of them. It's just that, we have to space them out. So say like maybe quarterly, every 3 months, we have somebody that's like really, really, out there. Like somebody like Wolf that really likes to talk and people know who he is. And, is
Oh
Leo our,
my God!
Leo's our special
Leo,
Oh my God! It's you!
Leo.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
happening, everybody? How
Okay.
y'all doing?
Oh my
Yeah.
God! I've been dying to
What's
meet
up?
you for years.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, I love you so much.
If I
Oh
was
my God,
white,
this was the best present you could give me.
if I was white, I'd be red from blushing. You just made my night.
No, you
Girl,
just made my year.
what? Oh,
Oh my
my wife
God.
needs to hear this. I
Oh
want
my God.
Yeah.
my wife to hear this.
May I say, none of us ever got that. Holy crap.
Nah.
Wow.
Just so you know,
Yeah,
man.
Leo. Boy, I'm jealous.
Oh
That's
my
her
God.
favorite strain.
You are like a
Yeah.
superstar to me.
We don't,
Oh,
we,
thank
we,
you.
we don't,
And I
we don't sum total that.
Well,
and
hey, I got. It's interesting because I see both my source codes here, so I know I'm in good company right now.
Yeah,
oh,
man.
I am so happy and so excited. You don't even know.
Well,
No,
Liz,
I'm
it's nice to meet you. I'm Leo.
I'm
yeah.
Liz, and first and most importantly, is thank you for your service
My
and
honor.
thank your family for their, because it's just as hard, if not harder, for the family as well.
Mm,
So thank you.
my honor. My honor.
And
Sue
thank
and
you
Johnny,
for
nice to
being
meet you guys too.
See you.
an advocate.
Hmm.
I miss Bridge 2O
Mm,
from
yeah,
Harmony.
yeah,
That was my favorite strain too. It's a
yeah,
good
yeah,
strain.
yeah, yeah. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. I'm working on getting it back out there again.
Oh my God,
So
I'm
stay
so
tuned.
happy to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. You know,
I'm from Liz Lights Up.
nice
I'm
to
a
meet you,
se-
Liz.
I am a senior cannabis advocate and educator.
Okay,
You
nice
know,
to meet you. Thank you for your service.
oh well, thank you. I'm sorry, I'm starstruck. Oh
No,
my,
please. I wish God, I wish my wife and them could hear this. Right, Lefty? Because it don't work like that in this house. They don't care about me.
Well, oh, yeah, we gotta warn you then. This is being recorded for replay. So
There you go.
yeah, she'll get to see it.
oh, my face hurts.
Yeah.
Hi, Lefty, man. Okay, I gotta roll something up here. I'm just like,
So,
We'll do real quality.
so
Yeah.
Liz, you can interview Leo if you'd like. I'm sure you have a lot of questions for him, right?
Hey,
oh,
go for
listen.
it.
Yeah.
I know you worked for like a year on the Bridge 2O.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Uh, again, it's a fantastic strain
Mhm.
for PTSD,
Yeah.
anxiety.
Mhm.
It was probably the first non high CBD, low THC strain I tried from Harmony.
Mhm. Mhm.
Do you know Alex Bench?
Yes, I do.
I'm partners with him, and I have told him before. I'm like, I gotta meet Leo.
Really?
Yeah, he's. Oh, I know. When I worked at Harmony.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So what are you up to now?
Oh wow, that's a big question. It's so much. I mean,
Why
it's
don't you start with
interesting.
Leo? I'm Sue. Hi.
Oh,
Hey,
I'm
Sue.
Oh
sorry.
Why don't
yeah.
you start with telling us like what you have been up to in the past, not now, because Liz knows you, but I don't, and I don't know.
I'm
And I know
sorry.
Lefty does, but I don't know about Jim, Johnny, and me. So
Oh,
tell me about you.
oh, oh. Well,
That's the story.
if you have Jim and Lefty on here, then you pretty much got me right there. You know what I'm saying? I call them the source code. But real quick, I just got to say this because the other day, it was not too long ago, I was talking to somebody. I was in Philly, and I remember I was talking to Tosi, and I was telling her, I said, yeah, I had saw a picture, right? And I was telling her, I said, damn, it's been a while. I said, it's crazy because I found a picture, and it's a picture of Lefty, and the way he's standing, my son is standing right by him when we were in the state house. And Jim was standing off in the background, and Lefty had just said something like, I can't remember, it was something, but you could tell he had just said something to LJ. You know what I'm saying? Like something like, hey, little man, or something like that. I don't know, And I said, damn, those were the days, because, at that time, my wife and I, we were pregnant, with our little one now, and
Let me stop you for a minute.
sure.
We are not pregnant. Your wife was pregnant. Okay. You were not.
Okay. Let me stop you. I am daddy daycare here, and I had to take care of her.
That's all good. I think you're great for that.
So she did not go through that pregnancy by
Okay.
herself.
Okay.
So
You did not push that human being out of your body.
Yes, but she wouldn't have that human being in her body without me. What?
Well,
Oh my goodness.
So we were pregnant and going through it at the time.
Right, whatever you want to think.
Thank you. And
as long as you both didn't get kicked in the balls for it. Okay.
Right. So I was like, I said, and I was marveling at the picture because I was saying, damn, LJ is now a freshman at TC&J, Lefty, and Langston, right? Jim, don't you feel old, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I remember when he came to live with
you.
Yeah.
And he's 6'3".
Oh,
wow. Yeah. And Langston, because I told Tosi, I said, Tosi, I saw Lefty and we had a whole ass baby. You know what I'm saying? Like a whole baby. Because that was the times when I would run down, because remember, LaShawn was pregnant, you know what I'm saying? And I would run down, I would call you or tell you, hey, the helicopter's landing, Christy's coming,
Yeah.
And
we would go occasionally after the podcast when you first started coming around. We'd go back to your garage where all the baby shower gifts were piled everywhere, and we would get high and giggle.
Liz, we had piles of boxes of Pampers. Like we got I think we had 18 months worth of Pampers and
nice
kinds of stuff. Yeah, this is when we were.
It was a seriously full garage. Yeah. We had to sit over in a corner in little bitty chairs and shit,
And now,
I wanted to credential your whole. How did you get here? Where did that begin? It began by walking by the State House.
Yes.
When we were having a thing going. I mean, people there.
Yes. Yep.
It was like a really good gathering.
Yep.
And you're just inquiring as to what this is all about. We find out you got something to say. Hey, you want to have something to say? Okay. And then there you go.
I got up my very first time speaking in public like that in that type of venue.
You started coming to the podcast, and you had Governor Christie ignore you walking by. It ghosted you while Lefty was explaining. You're ignoring a veteran here like that,
Don't be a pussy.
You're right. No, he said. What did you say, Lefty? Yeah,
said,
all
"Don't be a
right.
pussy."
You said don't be. You didn't call him one. You
Yeah,
said don't
no,
be
you
one.
said don't be a pussy. You know what I'm saying? You got a veteran here. You just gonna ignore him?
And you were there, we were there, and all the people were. Nobody ever figured out where was Christie. He was like right in the middle of the doorway going in. Was he outside yet?
On the
Was he
threshold.
inside?
On the threshold.
Yeah, it was like you nailed him good. But that was the last time he ignored you.
Yes, it was. And then
then he given you a pen signing after
for signing
PTSD.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I remember Jim and Jim, Lefty, and Ken Wolski saying to me, "Hey, you got a great voice, and we can show you how to use that voice, to be able to move the needle some." And I was like, okay. And that was how my journey in the cannabis as an advocate began. I learned how to channel that veteran status to be able to move the needle, because at that time, 22 veteran suicides a day was a brand new number.
A very scary one.
What did you start with?
Yeah, it just came out, folks was, and we recognized early on, the veterans were who they really needed to hear from, and they weren't at that time. And, Jim and Ken and Lefty was like, we're going to show you how to use your voice and where to be at. And they literally took me by the hand and had me at everything, showing me how to look up.
Yeah, well,
when is the time to do, public comment, when to give oral testimony, how to do it. We back then there was a thing called the before there was a CRC, there was a medical. The state had a medical like a council.
What they call that?
I'm trying to remember, Jim. It was at the War Memorial. Remember, it was all a bunch of doctors from Rutgers who headed it up, and it was not. I forget the name of it, but it was that was who the state was using or looking to help make decisions when it comes to medical cannabis for
Well, there was talk of partnering with Rutgers, but that was just sort of thrown out there more by the governor, I think, as a I think as a way of, who knows, McCormick, I think was his name.
We went and talked to them a couple of times.
Yeah.
Then I ended up, going, and then between me, Lefty, and Jim, we were going, and Ken, we were going all up and down New Jersey.
Yeah, and with you and Don Karpowicz and Philippe Dumais sitting at the table. See, we groomed all three of you guys.
Yep, sure did.
And it was sort of like, I think your portrayal of how it was good. It was like we knew the value of a veteran that could talk intelligently on a subject and with passion, but between the three of you, it had it all. And what I loved about was Don Karpowicz. He had 22 a day on his T-shirt.
Yep.
And when you were talking about it or something like that, he was sitting there looking at him going,
yep.
like that, and it was like freaking tag team going on. I got the surprise of my life. You were part of it. Oh man, I couldn't wait to introduce you to Diane Allen, the TV personality against it. One of three Republicans on the health committee in the assembly or whichever. No, the Senate. The Senate, right?
No, it's the Senate.
And I couldn't wait to introduce you to her because, like, we're going to have something to say here, man. I had a mouthpiece that she had to respect if she didn't respect me or anybody else that she met before that. So I go over, introduce you, and she starts talking about being all in favor of this. She's there to vote in favor and speak strongly in favor. And I'm like, shit, that wasn't fireworks.
Look, I remember that because Jim was like, "What the hell?"
Oh, so I was disappointed.
That's all I had to do was go get him.
For myself. No, I'm not disappointed for that because, like, you always want to be in that position,
Right.
Like it would have been nice if you somehow could have used the veteran status to talk to Jack Citarelli, who when he was running for governor, because he was one of the 13 that voted against it.
Well, it was interesting.
That would have been good.
What's interesting, Jim, is that actually came up during the elections.
Oh yeah. No, it came up, but for you, like a one-on-one, so
Yeah, because I was telling some people, I was like, yeah, when me, Philippe, and Don was up there giving our testimony and everything like that, who were we talking to? We were talking to Jack Citarelli, You know what I'm saying? And he said no, right to our faces. You know what I'm saying? And it was one of those. It was like one of those things where it's like, how when hindsight is 20/20 now.
Sometimes.
Right, exactly. Sometimes, yeah, we are talking about Jersey here. But
we're talking about the whole nation.
Yep. And then, like everything sort of kind of from there, I just sort of kind of kept going, and I ended up going down to Washington, D.C. and met up with a bunch of, veterans down there. We went down to the VA, and actually we protested out there, to get, and then we went to the White House, and then I met Senator Booker, and I remember him asking me to come to DC, and I did. He asked me to come to DC a number of times. Each time he asked me, I went, but it was more so to give that voice, to talk about it, and also get folks to understand that, this is a very real issue, and this was happening. I mean, we had a guy set himself on fire in the parking lot of a VA clinic.
My God!
Trying to get help.
God!
It was that type of stuff that was happening. And it got to a point where it was and what was interesting is that I learned as I traveled across the country, the more and more I talked with people, the more I was finding out that folks were leaning more towards the word of a veteran before a politician now.
Oh yeah.
And I quickly I became proud because I like being the reason why you don't give the veteran the microphone. Because and you could tell I was hanging around Jim Miller and Lefty Grimes. Because I was saying the things that one of the things I always say is, us veterans, we're comfortable with being uncomfortable. It don't mean nothing, it ain't no thing to me. And so I would just blurt out the things that folks, the uncomfortable truths, that folks did not want to hear. And so that all of that sort of kind of, it just snowballed. And then we ended up that was when I was having those battles with Senator Ron Rice, and interestingly enough, it was through those battles that Senator Ron Rice and I actually became friends. And
Leo, what part of the military did you serve in?
I served in the United States Army.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
You were a sergeant, correct?
That is correct. Yep.
Under General Petraeus.
Yes, I actually was on part of General Petraeus' comms package, and I also worked for Admiral Mike Mullins. I was a telecommunications specialist.
Very nice.
So my job was to make sure that everybody can talk to one another, or in certain circumstances that folks will be able to call home for help. So my ability to properly enunciate my words and my diction was a skill set that was always in play because I was accustomed to being in environments where the operational tempo was so high, that you may only get one chance to call home for help.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to be able to really learn how to effectively communicate rather than just hoop and holler, and it was those skill sets that actually helped me to become, successful in moving the needle in a number of different directions to get things done.
You have that baritone voice too.
I'm sorry?
You have a that baritone voice
Oh,
Yeah.
carries. Yeah.
thank you.
How long were you in the service for?
8 years.
8 years.
Yep. I did my 8 years, and then I got out.
And did you go overseas? Did you
6
serve?
tours in Iraq and 4 in Afghanistan.
Okay.
Yep. And then
Thank you for your service.
my honor. Yep. But I spent some time in Russia, spent some time in Belgium, spent 4 years in Italy. I lived in Italy for almost 4 years. So a lot of it was NATO services, and then I got out and became a contractor for the Department of Defense and worked at the Pentagon for a number of years. And that was when I was working for General Schoolmaker, and then Admiral Mullins became chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and then Admiral Mullins became director of the CIA, and I ended up down in DC at the Pentagon, and then I became a contractor after that, and then I went back over as a contractor.
Oh, wow.
Interesting story you have. And you know what? I would love to interview you one day to do an article.
Absolutely. Lefty, you could just go ahead and pass along my contact info if you can.
Yeah, and Lefty can give you mine too.
Yeah,
And mine too. Because
absolutely.
I would love to have you on Liz Lights Up.
Absolutely, yeah, sure.
Because we're the biggest and the fastest growing demographic in the industry.
Okay.
And we also don't know anything. We've come from the happy days into the twilight zone.
You got a little
Liz, you really need to speak for yourself, okay? Because we are part of that generation also.
Yeah.
And I didn't see the same things.
Yeah, well, how close to that generation are you getting, Leo? You got some gray coming in here, man. I like it.
Hey, man,
how old are you? Is what I'm saying.
You're my kid's age, I bet.
My birthday was actually this past February 5th. I am exactly 30 days into my 51st birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Yep. I am 51 now.
Same age as my kids.
You are ARPable.
Yeah. I got the AARP.
Yeah.
Nice. You have a good story. I look forward to being able to talk with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What kind of questions? What would you ask him, Sue? What kind of questions would you ask him?
I ask him about his background, and then see where that takes us, and we just kind of like weave into other questions about cannabis related advocacy and activism. And you have a good story. And
I was born right here in Trenton, New Jersey. And then I went to college in North Carolina. And then after college, I went into the military when 9/11 happened.
Okay.
I was actually in North Carolina.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old were you then? So I don't have to do the math.
I was 26 when I went in.
Awesome.
Yeah. In comparison to my peers, I was old.
No, but that somehow I find that counts extra special. And I don't know why. That's the way it hits me.
Well, truth be told, like my age when I entered into the military actually served me well. You know what I'm saying? Because I was the same age as my drill sergeants and a lot of my cadre. Like we were all like around the same. As a matter of fact, my first unit commander graduated from West Point with my cousin, and had actually come here and been to my aunt and uncle's house and knew my family, and I just happened to fall in his unit when my first duty station was actually Fort Bragg. I was only there for about a week and a half, and then I got deployed. And after that, and then when I came back from Fort Bragg, they send you on block leave, and while I was on block leave, I came down on orders and had to leave and go to Italy. I drew a NATO assignment. So I was working for NATO for a number of years. And so that's how I ended up working for General Petraeus, because I was on the NATO side. And also Admiral Mullins was our base commander when I was in Italy. And so
where in Italy were you?
Naples. I was in Naples.
Naples. That's where my family is from.
Napolitano, tu parli Italiano.
Yeah.
Va bene. Yep. So it's one of those.
In fact, I'm going there in August.
Really?
Yeah.
I still keep in touch with all my friends that still live in Napoli. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
That's nice. That's really
Yep.
nice.
We're still in touch, you know, because I have a family now. So when they first met me, I was a single young guy, you know, and now you know, married with 2 kids, you know, and so
How old are your kids?
my oldest is 19 now, and the youngest is 9. He just became Jim. He just got the title of sensei. You know,
Oh, okay.
my
Yeah.
son,
Oh,
yeah, he
yeah.
competes.
All right.
He competes in competitive martial arts,
Uh-huh.
and so you
Well,
know,
my youngest grandson does that.
Yep.
He's 14.
Okay.
He's been doing martial arts since I guess he was 7. He was a little guy. Yeah.
Yep. I was just telling some friends the other day. I was like, yeah, he beat the shit out of this girl the other day, you know, and I was just like, damn, you know, and she was bigger than him, you know, and I was like, damn, you know, I guess he. Yeah, I made the mistake because I'm one of those parents. I cheer for everybody, and especially the little girls. Because when I see a little girl who's holding her own, I'm like, "That's right, mama. You go, little mama." And man, why did I say that? My son looked at me, and he did that up and down. He looked at me like I was small. Then he looked at her, and he said, "Okay," you know, and he proceeded to kick her ass, and I was like, "Damn."
Wow.
I was like, okay.
You don't hear that description like if somebody just tuned in now, you know.
Right.
And he proceeded to kick her ass. I was so
he
proud
did.
of him. Yeah,
I felt so bad. I felt so bad.
But you hear you almost need a graphic,
right?
So somebody doesn't start, you know, looking for a phone to make it.
Yeah, I should have never. My problem was you know, like I said, I cheer for everybody, especially the little girls who know what they're doing, you know, and you know, I thought, you know, she got a point. I was like, yeah, mama, go, little mama, and
but you know, you think about it when you talk about like, okay, so she took a loss to a he, but then what that gives her in a fair competition, you learn more from losing than winning, you know. I mean, basically, if you keep winning, you're reaffirming what you already know. But when you have that, and that's the environment to learn it in, not, you know. I mean,
let me tell you something. So we're riding home one day because, you know, I'm still on the road. I go on the road a lot, especially because of business and everything like that. And I have to, you know, I'm in and out of town, you know. So when I come home, and my wife handles everything. So I have to get in where I can fit in, you know, and not interrupt. She has a whole routine, you know, that she does, you know. So she says to me, "Hey, can you take him up to the dojo? You know, he's got weapons training." I said, "Sure, no problem." You know, so I go up there, and it turns out it wasn't weapons training; it was sparring. So I said, "Oh, you know," so it was actually sparring and weapons training, right? So I said, "Okay." So I'm watching him. He does his thing, and we're riding back in the car. We're going home, and I said to him, I said, "Hey, man, you have to learn how to get control of your emotions so that they do not control you." And and my son is he's one of those kids. I give him the iPad when we're in the car, so he had the iPad in his lap, and as soon as I said that, he looked up. He said, "Daddy, a fight is just an intimate conversation between two people with no words. It doesn't. Reagan is my friend. It doesn't mean we're mad at each other." And then look back down. Now, okay, I'm driving, and he says this to me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm
digesting it.
because I'm trying to like what.
So it's almost like you're finding out at that moment you weren't on that subject. You were not the smartest person in the car.
No, and I had to check myself immediately. You know, I immediately checked myself because I didn't want to say, "What you know about intimate conversation?" I didn't want to say all that. I wasn't, you know, because that was the first thing I thought. What you mean intimate conversation with no words. Who you know, I didn't do that. I get home and I tell my wife, I said, hey, he, what the hell they be teaching them up there at that damn school? You know, and she said, what? I told her what he said. I said, Langston just told me that a fight is just an intimate conversation between two people with no words. And he said, Megan's my friend. You know, Reagan is my friend. You know, and I said, she said, well, that's what they do this, that. I was like, okay, I just want to make sure ain't some Cobra Kai shit going on right now. Because that was, you know, what the hell? You know, and you know, it turns out that the dojo that he attends it's a highly competitive dojo. I did not know any of this stuff. You know, he got into competitive martial arts as it was actually it was a form of correction from his sensei. His sensei got tired of trying to tell him to keep his hands up because he had a habit of putting his hands down. So he figured, you know what? You're going to start competing. You get kicked in the face a couple of times, you'll keep your hands up. But it turns out he's a natural at it. And so it had the, you know, so it just, you know, and I'm, you know, Liz, I'm like, I don't know none of this stuff. I'm one of the, I'm a, you know, Sue, I'm a good husband. I do as I'm told.
Let me ask you.
When she said go here, I go. You know what I'm saying? I have been in a lot of situations where the women will look at me and be like, you have no idea why you're here. And I'm like, no, I really don't. I don't know. I just
do what you're told.
Yeah. I always say this to them because they laugh at me. I'm like, could you just tell my wife that I was here and that I was good? I didn't argue. I didn't do none of that stuff. And they just, and I get the same reaction every time. They always laugh. And I'm like, yeah, but y'all don't live with her. I do.
That's right. That's
And
right.
I'm really not trying to like, you know, I there are times where you have to, we all have to make a choice as men. Do we want to be right or do we want peace? And they're not always the same thing. And so most of the time, you know, because listen, my wife has a PhD in mathematics. You know what I'm saying? My oldest thinks I'm corny, you know, and my youngest talks to me like I'm small, you know. So the times that I get to be 100% right about anything here,
Enjoy it right now because you're in that moment right now.
Right. And so, and that's why and that was part of how I became so passionate about cannabis because I was right. You know?
Yes.
And we were right before anybody knew that we were right. When we kept telling them we were right. You know, it took them some years, but damn it, we was right. And what is this, Lefty? Jim, this is like what, our 11th year?
Yeah. So I'll ask you, Lefty, how often has Kathy ever said, hey, I wanted to say hi?
Look at Kathy sitting back there. I
Yeah.
She has never once wanted to, because I got the headphones on. All she can do is hear me laughing and having fun.
I wanted to say hi to Leah.
Yeah, right. So between Kathy
Hey,
and Liz, you got yourself a real fan squad going. I gotta tell you, I don't see anybody else with their significant other right here. And now you're giving away like secrets and shit, you know? It's sort of like you're telling.
You got a fan club.
You know, we need like a safe word, you and me. And I can't think of what it is. Or what it is. You know?
Oh man.
But we go through it. Hey, listen, man. Look. As husbands, we need our own type of counseling because that's what they do. They talk to each other, and we don't do that.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, you're onto something there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we ought to have like maybe a once a month or every other month meeting in a library, you know, like survivors of something or whatever. I went to an MS support group meeting for MS caregivers and I didn't belong there at all, man. I had none of their problems, you know.
Right.
I left there feeling guilty about it. I got none of that shit, you know, going
right.
But anyway, Yeah, it would be good, you know? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
first of all, sometimes I have field vision and it doesn't get respect no matter how long I've been doing something. Now, on the other hand, that keeps me upright, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not surrounded by yes people. I'm not even sitting across from a yes person.
Oh,
But in the end, it does cause me at least to re-examine shit a lot. Even if I'm coming up, okay, I went over this in my head 3 times. Let me try one more time, because when I'm wrong, I'm freaking wrong, and it's more embarrassing being wrong and not knowing it. And being wrong, go, oh, my bad, I'm looking at it the wrong way. I got a dozen segues to.
I actually had that conversation with my oldest son, because I was telling him, like one thing, I said this to him. I said,
which way this is gonna fall.
Imagine, I was like, do you not know, like, now that you know what's going on, imagine if you kept going and never knew what was happening.
Yeah.
Now, which is it? You know what I'm saying? Are you angry that you know now, or are you angry? How long did you go without knowing? Are you thankful for it?
Yeah.
Because that's where you have to be at now.
Yes.
Because and I teach my sons this because I always say, when people ask me questions and everything like that, Leo, what do you think about this? And I used to look at them and I go, you do realize you asking the black dude in this movie what he think? We normally don't make it to the end of the movie. So what the hell do you think I'm thinking? Shit, I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna survive.
So your boys are like 10 years apart.
Yeah.
That's an interesting dynamic, I think, in and of itself,
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. Well,
with nobody else in between. It's
yeah. And I had my son, I had my oldest son, I went and picked him up this weekend, and we went and had Langston in the car, and he gets in the car and he's like, Dad, I need such and such, so-and-so. And my oldest son turned and looked and he said, when did Langston's voice get so deep? I said, yeah, it's happening. I said,
oh man.
But the good thing is that, and I tell him this, like he still asks if he can cuddle with me. And he says that, Dad, can I cuddle with you? Yes. You know what I'm saying? He still gives me kisses on demand and sometimes unsolicited kisses.
Enjoy that while it lasts.
He's always up under me. And listen, I do like this. I get as much as I can because
you gotta suck it all up
to that age where he's gonna be like, Dad, no, like his brother.
But you're redoing that whole thing.
I get to live
without little competition. You know what I'm saying? I think that makes you a lucky man.
I am blessed. I'm a very blessed man to be able to have this. And he, like he's still, I know, especially with both of them, but this young one too, the little one, Dad, do you see me? Mm-hmm. That's it. Do you see me? And I always make sure I let him know. And one of the first things that I always do is I still get down on one knee. I meet him at his level so that we're here, and I see the effect of it because I look at the way my oldest is, Jim Lefty, LJ represented us at Boys State. He was picked to be the representative for his school at Boys State. He did the Young Diplomats program at Hampton. He did the educational program. He was teaching young kids from the Ukraine who were here for refugee service purposes. And he was, teaching them because he wanted to go into education, he's, and so it's like, okay, and he was in a gentleman's ball, he's done a lot of stuff. And it's, and it's like, I couldn't be prouder, because it's like, okay, like, listen, we've given you the foundation and everything like that. Now it's up to you to build upon it, and we're at that stage where, you know, we have to let go and let God, you know what I'm saying? And now we're pouring all of that, you know, and, you know, now we got Langston coming up. And again, while he's still, you know, at this, and one of the things I love about Langston, and I told him this, you know, the little one was just, don't ever lose that. He, you know, he's at the dojo, I think 6 days a week for hours on end. You know what I'm saying? He's very disciplined and heavy into his craft, which is martial arts and various weapons and stuff like that. But the other thing, and that dojo is his safe space. You know what I'm saying? But the other safe space that he has that I love is he is really, really heavy into church. He loves to sing.
Wow.
And I love that about him, you know.
Awesome.
And I tell him that, like, Langston, don't ever not sing. I like that. He, you know, like with the choir and everything like that, he likes to lead the services with the announcements and stuff like that, and everything. And I just love that. And my oldest, and I told him this, like, don't ever change. I love the fact that he is so not afraid to cut a rug.
I love that. I haven't that in a long time, man.
He gets out there and he know all the dances and stuff. But the other thing that I think is really cool about him is he is heavy into Halloween and dressing up. He likes that. You know what I'm saying? And I love that he loves to do that. You know what I'm saying?
My birthday.
That is the thing that him and LaShawna really connect on, you know, with, you know, putting on special effects, makeup and everything like that. He still likes to do that. And I told him, listen, the world is about to get very serious for you, you know, especially, you know, nowadays as a young Black man in America and the way things are, you know, when you look at the current political and racial climate of the country, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. There needs to be something that's a part of your character that is not so serious. And your ability to be able to laugh at yourself and to enjoy your own company and be secure with yourself is going to be paramount, because, you know what I'm saying, there's going to be some pretty hard days, you know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things that I just, you know, I've always instilled in both my sons, you know, especially when it comes to, you know, being good, you know, being leaders. You know, my sons know leadership is not about being in charge. Leadership is about taking care of those in your charge. And so watching Langston, because now he's Sensei, they call him Sensei Langston, and he has his own students, you know.
How old is he?
He's 9.
That's wild.
Yeah.
You should be so proud.
I am. And
I'll tell you something, though.
Yeah.
Your children are seriously a reflection of you and your wife.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's why they are the way they are.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to take credit for that.
It's
a hard job.
I you know, it's interesting. I'll say this to you. My son said to me one day, he said, yeah, Dad, he was part of a group called Kappa Leagues, where they teach young men how to be in service to the community and all this other stuff. And he said amongst his peers, you know, they call him Unc, you know. And I said, you know, and when he said it to me, I said, wait, what? He said, yeah, they call me Unc, Dad, you know. And I was like, you know, I said to him, well,
explain that to him.
Wait a minute. Because I was like, wait a minute. They call you Unc? And he said, yeah. And I said, why do they call you Unc? And he said, I don't know, Dad. They just, you know. And I said, let me ask you something. Do the adults who run this program and everything like that, do they know that they call you, that the other kids call you Unc? And he said, yeah. And I said, oh shit, LJ. And he said, what? And I said, that's not a bad thing. And he was like, what do you mean?
It's not a bad.
Yeah, you know, because the way he was reacting, like when he was telling me this, when we were having this conversation, I'll be honest with y'all, I was a little thrown off because I didn't know what the hell. I was trying to figure out what's the problem here. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was something like, because I said something, and he said, "Oh, Dad, they'll cook me if I say that." You know, and I said, "What are you talking?" You know, he said, "You know, the kids, they call me Unc." You know, and I was like, I never heard this because I don't attend any of these things. These are their activities, and you know, I just drop them off and pick them up, but I don't interfere. You know, because they have to create their own lane. You know what I mean? And and it needs to be absent of me. You know, and so I intentionally do it that way. You know, and he said, I said, so he's explaining it to me, and I said, do the adults know that they call you Unc? He said, yeah. And I said, oh shit. And he said, what? And I said, actually, that's not a bad thing, son. And he said, what are you talking about? And I said, it's a form of it's a form of admiration. It's respect. You know what I'm saying? You obviously do something, or you say things. You keep, you know, like, are you always the one who has to organize everyone and get everything? He said, yeah. That's why I sit in the back. Son, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know, so you know, I find out, you know, he's telling kids, oh, you might want to consider attending a HBCU because they do such and such. Oh, you might want to consider going into the military. You know, da da da. And I'm telling him, and I'm going, hey man, you live with me and your mom. You can't have lived with us all these years and nothing. Like, you know, you tease me. You know, I'm like, you tease me about my speeches and everything like that, and you really think you just going nothing, huh? Ain't none of me and you, huh? You know, and he was just, you know, like you can see. Like the one thing I love about both my sons is they cannot hide it. You can tell looking at their faces when their wheels are spinning.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes, you know, because I you know, my son was so mad at me one day. My oldest son, he was angry, y'all. And I mean, Stu, you know what it looked like when your kid's at the highest level of festivity. I mean, God damn, you know what I'm saying? And I said to my son, I said, oh shit, you want to fuck me up, huh? You want to bust my ass. You angry. And he was just, he going like this. And I said, oh, you could taste me. I said, you know what I'm saying? You know, I said, trust me. I don't need you to confirm what I'm saying. I know exactly what you're thinking. You want to know why? Because I gave you that face, and I know what that face looked like. and I already know. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's the thing, my man. If you're feeling froggy, jump. Anytime you want, I'll give you all this.
Leo, before we let you go, I got a question for you. What
Sure.
Right now, what's your favorite munchie food right now?
Oh boy.
This is
my favorite munchie food. Wow. You ready?
Popcorn.
Nope. Raisin Bran.
Oh, that's my favorite too.
Yeah.
I love
have it
Raisin
every
Bran. Yep.
morning.
With a little bit of hazelnut cream in the milk.
I put peanut butter on mine.
That's very specific.
Okay. Wait a minute. She said she put peanut butter in hers?
It's
How
healthy.
is that?
That's
I
good,
get
I guess.
every morning, just one slice, and I buy it on sale. So now there's always a loaf in the freezer.
She's talking about raisin bread, not raisin bread.
Oh, raisin bread.
Oh no, raisin bread. Oh
yeah, no, but I got to tell you what. This is like, that's how Reese's got chocolate and freaking peanut butter together. It's sort of like, I gotta know how do you get some peanut butter into the raisin bran?
Now I'm
I mean, what
hungry.
if you just add Raisin Bran to Reese's? You know, some Raisin Bran in there.
Bruh, listen.
I don't know. I'm kind of high to be putting this together right now.
Now, I have a question for you guys. You know what I'm saying? What do you think about what do you think about the state of things as it is today versus back then? How did we do?
In what aspect?
Yeah. What,
And now we have a whole industry.
oh, okay. Yeah.
I think that home grow is coming up now, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Right.
Isn't
There's two bills, yeah.
Gopal and Singleton and a few others pushing a bill that will allow for home grow?
Yeah, it's the same bill they've been pushing for going on 5 years now.
Yeah.
But it changes each
Right.
each session. But the thing is, and with the new governor and somebody that won't stand on the sidelines eventually, I got to assume there's an amazing transition process that I know nothing about. So it's not like, why doesn't she? You know, it's not like there haven't been a certain feelers going that way. But yes, eventually, I do believe she's going to be the big difference in getting the bills to hearing.
I agree.
If nothing else, and I mean for both bills, not the one that includes both. There's one that includes both, but to have both bills heard. You know, I've been a big fan of medical first, and I still am if it had to be one then the rest, because that's the one that has Republican co-sponsorship, you know, and all that.
Yep.
But now with Mikey Sherrill, that might not at all be necessary, and it might just certainly be I think it could be played that our Senate president would like to let go of the rope eventually for patients, because that'll keep everybody else at bay. But he's already drawn it out too long in my mind. And then as soon as it goes for patients, you know, and it gets posted, patients can turn around and say, what's wrong with you? And then, you know, basically, and with a governor that is the unknown quantity right now. And until she does something to destroy my faith in some way, I'm still ready to take a kick at that football. It ain't Lucy Holden again, the football no more.
That is true. One of the things that I find to be very effective in talking, especially because at this point we're talking policy, you know, we're talking it being a right now, this is, you know, we're coming up on midterms this year. You know, some very serious elections are going on, and particularly in the state of New Jersey, in terms of, like, you know, assembly and all that stuff. So these things are happening. But
I gotta say, no, it goes off. It almost hurt my head that these things are happening. They should be happening, but something is in the back of my head saying, don't assume you're going to live this
don't trust it.
time next year. Don't equate that with, well, midterms are coming, therefore they will happen. Because when you back something into a corner to a point of no return, and then you realize that motherfucker is walking backwards on purpose, you know, and all of a sudden, I'm just saying, you know.
Well, see, here's the thing. With that being said, that's why I'm saying it. See, it hits different in March than it does in October.
Oh yeah.
You know?
And midterms, you know, when it's not a presidential year,
right? Yep.
It's not. You don't get the voter turnout. Like,
I don't know. I don't know about this year, though. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
You know, the political climate is so insane that I don't know that this year might be different.
Yeah, and things are changing really, not rapidly, but the changes is like a pinball now, not so much a chess match. It's banging around, and as quick as you can make computations, the numbers are different. Things are changing. So, like, I'm just saying, I it's almost like doing the touchdown dance in the middle of a game when the game ain't freaking over. And I feel like we're at that kind of crossroads where you know, not because I'm 73, but okay, just so my cardiologist, I'll see you in 6 months. I go, I hope so. And we both laugh because, like, you don't want to assume. So I didn't mean for jumping with that, but I feel like I got a freaking electrical shock, you know?
Well, you know, I say this, you know, because one of the things that I've in this journey of mine and the things that I've seen and witnessed and conversation I'm having, I've learned that you have to pay these people in the currency that they accept. And that currency is votes. And when you start having these types of conversations in March, you know, that's threatening for a lot of folks because now because there's a chance that, you know, the snowball effect, you know, can happen. Now, one of the most interesting things that I find is, you know, New Jersey broke 1 billion in sales last October.
Yeah.
And when you think about that, you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, not 1 billion. We broke 3 billion.
Yeah.
We did 1.1 billion in just 2025 alone. But if you take into consideration everything, it's 3 billion. Now, here's the thing. That's $3 billion of brand new unaccounted for money that was off the books, that's now on the books in circulation. There are 13,000 people working in an industry that we helped to stand up. You know, those are the types of numbers that I don't care what kind of politician you are, it's going to give you pause. It is something that you have to consider. And when I talk with politicians and stuff, I say that. I say, hey, 3 billion, 13,000 jobs. And you mean to tell me you don't think nothing? Like you don't have nothing to say about that?
Yeah.
That's impossible. Especially if we're talking about sitting in a leadership position. If I'm sitting in a leadership position, if someone says to me, hey, we're talking $3 billion, $3 billion, 13,000 jobs. I want to hear about this.
Yeah.
I want to know what's going on. I'm gonna have more to say than, well, I'm for medical.
What do you say when somebody says with home grow, isn't that going to cut into the Treasury's money that's coming in now? How will that affect the Treasury? Because that's going to be the perception that look at the money that is coming in. So the longer
I always tell people this, you know, the only people, in all honesty, the majority of the people who really do home grow are going to be patients. They're the only ones who really do home grow like that. You're going to have a lot of people in the beginning try it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you know
what they're going to find out.
You got to know that in order to grow cannabis, this got to be in your heart.
Yeah.
This has to be in your heart.
They're going to find out.
I think a lot of legacy people will start going for their medical card.
Yeah.
So,
why not?
Right?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And end up.
Yeah. You know, so again, you know, like I'm of the opinion, you know, like you know, like you really, first of all, it's not enough people. There's not enough people to affect what exactly is going to happen.
I think you kind of really got right up alongside what I feel is that, yeah, a lot of people are going to go ahead and grow, adults with whatever little amount they're allowed to grow. They're going to get their crop in. They're going to start smoking it, and they're going to look back at what they just got at a dispensary before that, and they're going to look at their dispensary weed, and then they're going to, do they really want to smoke their own now? Now, maybe if they're smart, they'll start making that into balm. You know what I mean?
Right.
But nonetheless, that's a kind of would work for me. Is that what I would say is, yeah, they're going to experiment and find out that it is not that easy. Some will be able to, and maybe the knowledge will start to get shared. But if the industry can outgrow that, you know, and that basically, you know, comes down to other states are able to do that. New Jersey shouldn't always be the where's my slice state, even with an issue like this. So it's I think it's gonna happen, and
I do too. I
you
think
know,
it's
I mean,
gonna happen.
we went from Christie to a Democrat, John Corzine, who a lot of people say was the reason that home grow was pulled out because of a request. That's the main guess amongst people. And Bill Caruso, who does know a lot of what goes on, that's, you know, he kind of started and floated that. And I trust that to be at least well thought out. But that being the case, that means for 16 years until just recently, we didn't have an advocate. Ever since the bill got passed, the moment it had to get regulated, Christie on to stand on the sidelines. If you're lucky, Phil Murphy. If not, who knows what goes on back there? You know, there's a lot of South Jersey political influence that gets played for doing certain things, and you never know, and that's the whole reputation. So that's why maybe it's still sinking into me. This is very far away from the best that we've had in 16 years. So if things are going to jumpstart, now is the time, and it's ready with bills that have been not heard for 5 freaking years.
Yep.
You know, so if that isn't going to be the easiest for the governor to step into and say, first of all, these bills need to be heard so I know what to think. I don't want to ask you what to think. We've got bills that need to be heard. Let's not talk about why they haven't. The only way we're not going to talk about why they haven't been heard is to allow them to be posted. In other words, how long is that conversation where actually this is one where she gets to put her Senate president in his place of Senate president, and her being the one on record going to look not good if people know she had the chance to push you and couldn't even do that? I think that's the natural course. You know,
boys and girls. This I want to thank Leo for joining us today. This concludes our podcast for the evening.
Oh, my bad, y'all.
Leo, can you say this concludes our podcast?
With a Wayne Marini voice, because he usually does, but Lefty doesn't have the. Wayne always said, "This concludes our podcast."
This concludes our podcast.
Give it your red. You know, go ahead.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our podcast for the evening.
Give it more. This concludes our podcast. Come on, man, you got the voice. Do it.
Okay,
Draw it out.
ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our podcast for the evening. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
You're right.
Yeah.
You need a podcast of your own, man.
I actually have a podcast.
Yeah, shout it out. Where's your podcast?
It's called The Bird Section. All I do is talk about Philadelphia Eagles football.
Oh no, I'm muting you. I gotta mute you. No.
Yeah.
You know,
Stop.
Yeah, on YouTube, The Bird Section.
Lefty's going to read some names off.
Well, thank you, Matt Hatter.
Okay.
Thank you, CMMJ.
Leo, I'll get your information from Lefty, and we'll talk, okay?
That works.
Thank you,
Okay.
UFCW.
It's a pleasure meeting you.
Arlo Glass.
Don't go away, Leo. Don't wait till we do.
SteveAcross.org. And we have a list of our friends and family here. You can stick around for this, Leo. It's a sad list. I think you've heard
a remembrance list.
Yep, that's the memory list.
Do they still do it? You should know. Others might at the World Trade Center. Although I used to bum me out, but they would every year on September 11th they'd read the names of those that died and ring a bell. You know, so like Lefty's been reading this list for how many years now? What, 8 years?
A long time.
I've watched it grow too.
Yeah. Okay. So so we're gonna do it, and you got a bell now, Lefty? Or
yes, we have a bell now because the bell.
Okay, I've got to get off. Okay, so it was really nice to meet you. I will be in touch. Okay.
Thank you, Sue.
And I'll talk.
Feel better, Sue.
Thank you.
All right, Sue.
All right.
Our list begins with Cheryl, Sabina, Diane, Gracie, Cindy Mae, Marie, Jack, Joan, Randy, Polly, Bill, Chad, Jeremy, Colette, Matt, Troy, Russ, Roger, Jay, Ella, Hattie, Jackie, Anthony, Jake, Armando, Felicia, Lynn, Dan, Sean, Joyce, Lori, Frank, Brian, Flo, Carl, Thorne, Frank, Lorraine, Terry, Charlotte, Cher, Jay, Michael, Marley, Colette, Brendan, Red, Rico, Lou, Becky, Lawanda, Paul, Lisa, Marcus, Gary, Julia, Wayne, Marie, Jeff.
Damn.
Missed a couple at the end. You missed your Wayne was you're breaking up, so we didn't hear a couple.
You probably had noise at your. That's why it probably went through. Maybe not, but
Well, no, it's doing it right now. You just froze.
I froze. Oh, I froze. Okay.
Kind
Leo,
of ruined your theory.
thank you, everybody. We'll see you
Thank
next
you.
time.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
You got to come on again. Come on. It was fun, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I miss you guys, man.
You know, we miss you too.
Anytime, bro.
You know, and there's way more story left, you know?
Oh, man, listen, I got a whole bunch of them for you.
I love it. I love it. I love you. I just thank you.
Liz.
I'm
Johnny,
so-
thanks for being on here, man.
All right, man.
Lefty, let me know when you need me, man.
I need you all the time, bro. All the time.
Hey, just send me the link.
At the absolute end, though, is Lefty reads a quick stanza as he has for a decade, ode to remembrance, and then
Yeah,
we're out.
you know this one. This is
He knows
100 years old. It's
Yeah,
goes
well,
like this.
You guys are two people I can't say no to. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, man.
I am forever indebted to you guys. Again, like I said, you're my. I credit you guys with being my source codes.
Yeah.
You know, and I
I
love you
can't-
both.
I can't believe it's been that long since it's been on. What the hell?
I said that. I told somebody, I was like, I said I can't wait to see them because I know how to put things in a way that's going to mess them up.
Tell me it wasn't
6'3" and a freshman in college. That's going to mess Lefty up. I know that's.
Yeah,
No, right? I know.
It's fun, man. I'll tell you. You know.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. They shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will
remember them. God damn it. Hey, man.
Thank you.
We're all out. Yeah.
Have a great